Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we are working with another pattern from friendshipbracelets.net. This one is 66102. I'm just going to copy this top part here, bring it over to my template here. It looks so tiny. Hang on, let me rotate it first. We're just going to rotate that 90 degrees. And then I'm going to use the scale tool and kind of zoom in there. All right. Next, I will add this to a new layer. And we're just going to shift this off to the side. Now, I have to say that when it came to this one, I was a little bit torn. Wait, why am I off centered so bad? I was a little bit torn because this area, can you see where the mouse is? Like right in between the middle of these X's looks like a cool place to have a center. But then again, so does the middle of this thing, whatever that is. I thought when I saw it, I was like, weird antler ears or something, like there's something, I don't know, there's something interesting about that that drew me in. And so basically, I asked my wife, I'm like, what do you think? And she liked this area. So fine, we'll try that. This dark is really sort of close to black. And I noticed that over here, the colors are actually different on the strings. Look at this. It's like an olive green or almost a brown. So I'm actually going to take the colors from this thing instead. So, and I'm just going to do the top half, right? I mean, if you've seen the channel before, you know that like we can cheat and just do part of the entire bracelet and then copy and paste the other half. But that works because it's a symmetrical thing. So yeah. So this is that part of the box. Let's go grab the lighter color. It's so weird, right? That the colors are like so different from the strings versus this. Like this looks like they used a fluorescent green, and here it's almost a yellowy green. So that's sort of weird. And then what's the last color? This. See, I have no idea why these are so different. It doesn't. If I was running the website, I would try to make the colors closer. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Okay, now to try to figure out where to so this start just does a little tiny thing here. Yeah, these little edge ones really every time they just mess me up. Okay, so this is just 3 knots this way. Okay, so we're on the right track. I got a feeling that this is not a simplified pattern, that there's going to be some stuff kind of going on behind it that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Call it a hunch. So this light is 3 there, 3 there, and then these go up to the middle. Yeah, so I thought these looked like kind of like an antler thing going on, and there was just something kind of interesting and different with it, and I really liked that. And I also thought that something like this, that maybe, and I haven't worked this out yet, but maybe there's a way. Wait, am I doing? No, not even close. That we can kind of change things up. Is that? No, it goes out further. That we can actually change something up in this and change how it ends. So that's part of my goal here today, is to see if we can do something interesting So that way we kind of limit the number of times. Well, there's not a whole lot of room, right? So we're just going to fit this little antlery thing in here twice. Yeah, this should get kind of interesting, I think. So. And I'm not just trying to like mess with patterns just for, you know, let's say, I I really truly believe in the notion that you can take a pattern and make it your own and do fun things to it, and that it's kind of, I feel like that's what we're supposed to do. So let's see. So that's the end of this. Then there's a green that comes out and this little bump out thing here. Well, it's really not going to leave us a whole lot of room to do anything else, is it? See, my thought was if we could get another diamond out on the other side of this, that then we could go into something else. But it looks to me like the diamond is going to be pretty much, let's see, this comes all the way to the edge, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it came out to here. Right. So this is supposed to go into the next little dark place there. Interesting. Yeah, this doesn't actually leave us any room for doing something weird. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens to the end of this. So those go there. This goes here. This was meant to come out this way. And then there's like a... Yeah, the dark would have come in like that. And then this would have broken off into this little diamondy thing. Do we want to do that? See, this would be this way, this was this is this, this is this, and then the lighter color would have been these ones, and this would be here. So that's how it would have ended, just sort of naturally. Obviously, we can change that, but now I'm not sure. Because I kind of like how that looks. It sort of looks like... I don't know. I kind of like that. All right, now... So the light colors are inside of this. So I can already see that comes to there, and this one comes to here. So that's sort of a thing. I don't know where the other yellow is going to come from. I don't know how this connects up here. I can see this being a thing. Oh, actually, nope. That can't go this way. That's over here. This most likely then, right? Because then this one here comes back to become, whoops, right? No, to become this one. So it's starting to make sense, kind of. Right, and then that comes this way. So with that same thing in mind, because the pattern repeats, we can assume that this one then no, I'm very confused. So it came up and then went into this. So then this one comes up. Like that, maybe? And then this one comes out. That's sort of interesting and weird all at the same time. Yeah, I kind of knew that this one, in order to make the pattern work, they were going to have to do something kind of aggressive with the string directions in order to get things to land and to make a pattern like this work out. So yeah, I kind of knew this going in, but it's even more than I had imagined. So I think what we're going to do here is we are going to concentrate on 1/4 of the pattern because of the fact, again, it's very symmetrical, and it just will make this a little bit easier, a little faster. So obviously I'm trying to do what I would perceive to be the easiest stuff first. I know I say this an awful lot, but if you do the easy stuff first, whatever is left will become easy. So yeah, that just answered all of that. And then, so the other green one is this. And yeah. Yeah, and so I could have gone straight down with this one, but I try to make things easier. See, I'm picturing that when this string is just coming out straight, this one's coming down, it's going to go over top of it, right? And come out, and then to be able to come back this way, which brings that green one in. The yellow one's going to come across that green one, sending it back out. So essentially, what I just did there was I made an executive decision that essentially will just make what happens at the edge just a little bit easier. Obviously, I could have sent this one in and then back out, right? I mean, that it works, but sometimes you kind of need to envision how, when you're working with the strings, how is that going to affect you? Putting in needless left right knots or right lefts, left right or right lefts. You're just making it harder on yourself for no real benefit. So it happens here again. Okay, so there's that one done now. So yeah, we've got the this green and this green and this yellow and this yellow. So yeah, pretty much everything that's left should be these. So I'm slightly curious as to what colors I have to make this work. So because I'll be doubling the string and because I used long floss, I cut my strings into thirds, I'm going to need 2 skeins of the yellow and the brighter green. And then I'll need 3 skeins of the darker color just to make this work. I mean, there'll be leftover strands, but that's essentially what I need to make this work. And I have a lot of string. I do have a lot of string, but I don't know what I have in those kind of quantities that would go good together like this. I'm pretty sure I have greens. I mean, I could probably do this in green. Or blue. Probably almost any color except for maybe yellow. Just because there's no huge contrasting difference in the yellows. There's, you know. Yeah, so I'm just, as I go along, I am making sure that there's no mistakes, there's no places where a string dead ends or runs into something, or a color is needed somewhere and there's no string getting that color to where it needs to be. And so far, everything looks spot on. We did this. It was a little difficult getting it started, and I kind of hoped to get more, more changes made in it. But there just really wasn't room for that. I mean, maybe if I started with this thing in the center and then went into this diamond afterwards, then that just go from there into something else. That could be a thing. So maybe we'll try this thing again sometime. Let me get rid of our inspiration part, grab the select tool, and we are going to, I need to get up higher, go right up to these grid lines and Control C, Control V. So now I have a copy of it that's just floating over the top. I'm going to use my flip tool and flip it horizontally. So now you can kind of see that floating piece, and we're just going to move it over here and anchor it. So now we've actually got the whole top filled in, which is cool. We go back to the select tool again, and now we can select the whole top half. Control C, Control V. So again, we have a floating layer, and this time we will flip it vertically. And scoot that over so it all lines up. And there's our bracelet. So yeah, I really came into this thinking there would be a lot of changes made And now that I see it, it's like, man, I really didn't do as much. So I think I'm going to put this pattern back into my folder for inspiration. And I think we're going to probably try this again. I don't know when, because, yeah, but soon. Soon. I think I'm going to try this one again. Because I like this. This is pretty cool. This is going to be an interesting one. But I think we can do it again. So yeah, something to look forward to. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you to my Patreon supporters who make this possible. I couldn't do it without their help. And yeah, I'm gonna look forward to making this, even though I have no idea what colors. So yeah. Um, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.